The Galactic Forum was an institution older than most civilizations, a shimmering, crystalline structure that floated in the void between stars. It served as the nexus of diplomacy for the known universe. For millennia, representatives from countless species had gathered here to debate, negotiate, and occasionally wage war, all under the watchful gaze of its enigmatic architects, the Ancients. But today, something unprecedented was happening. Humanity, the youngest and most unpredictable member of the galactic community, had announced their departure. Captain Ilara Voss stood at the helm of the Elysium, humanity's flagship vessel, her sharp green eyes fixed on the holographic projection of the Forum before her. She wasn't a politician or a diplomat. She was a soldier, tasked with leading the exodus. Around her, the bridge buzzed with activity as crew members prepared for what many considered unthinkable, abandoning the interstellar stage entirely. "It's done," said Lieutenant Kai Arlen, his voice tinged with disbelief as he handed her a tablet displaying the official declaration. "They've broadcasted our withdrawal across every channel. Every species knows." Ilara nodded grimly. "Let them talk. We've made our choice." But deep down, she couldn't shake the unease gnawing at her conscience. Humanity's decision hadn't been unanimous. While Earth's leaders argued that participation in the Forum stifled their progress and sovereignty, others believed isolation would doom them to irrelevance, or worse, extinction. The galaxy watched in stunned silence, unsure whether this act was one of liberation or madness. Far away, on the other side of the Forum's Grand Assembly Hall, Ambassador Zinthar of the Krylos, a towering insectoid race renowned for their stoic demeanor, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His compound eyes glinted with concern as he processed the news. Humanity's abrupt exit sent shockwaves through the chamber, where delegates muttered amongst themselves in dozens of languages. "They cannot simply leave," exclaimed Counselor Xylora of the Aquatic Nereid Collective, her bioluminescent skin flashing erratic patterns of distress. "Their presence stabilizes the balance of power." Zinthar raised a clawed hand to silence her. "Balance," he rasped, his voice like dry leaves rustling. "Humans have always been chaos incarnate. Perhaps their absence will bring peace." Yet even as he spoke, doubt lingered. Humanity's technological advancements over the past century had been nothing short of miraculous. Their mastery of quantum engineering and artificial intelligence rivaled even the ancients' forgotten works. And now, they were retreating into the shadows, leaving behind only whispers of their intentions. "What do you think they'll do next?" asked Xylora, her fins fluttering nervously. Zinthar hesitated. "That is the question no one can answer, and therein lies the danger." Back aboard the Elysium, Ilara stared out the viewport as the ship drifted farther from the Forum. Behind them, the massive structure seemed to shrink, its radiant spires fading into the blackness of space. Her mind replayed the final moments of the announcement, the cold, mechanical tone of the AI ambassador delivering humanity's ultimatum. "We are not your subjects, nor your pawns. From this day forward, we forge our own path. Do not seek us unless you wish to face the consequences." Those words had been crafted by Dr. Elias Hart, humanity's foremost strategist and the architect of this bold gambit. He sat now in the briefing room adjacent to the bridge, surrounded by holographic displays of star charts and tactical simulations. "You know why we're doing this, don't you?" Elias asked when Ilara entered. His piercing blue eyes locked onto hers, searching for understanding or perhaps approval. "To protect ourselves," she replied flatly. "To avoid being dragged into someone else's war." He nodded. "Exactly. The Forum is a powder keg waiting to explode. If we stay, we'll be forced to pick sides. By stepping back, we preserve our autonomy." "And what about the cost?" Ilara countered, folding her arms. Do you realize how many allies we're losing? How vulnerable we'll be if the galaxy turns against us? Elias leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. Vulnerability is a temporary state. In time, we'll become untouchable. Trust me, Captain. This is the beginning of something greater. Ilara wanted to believe him, but the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily upon her shoulders. What if they were wrong? What if humanity's retreat wasn't seen as strength, but weakness? Meanwhile, across the galaxy, reactions to humanity's departure varied wildly. Some species viewed it as an opportunity to consolidate power without interference. Others saw it as a harbinger of doom, fearing that humans would return with unchecked aggression. Among these dissenting voices was the enigmatic leader of the Vocari Syndicate, a shadowy organization rumored to control vast swaths of uncharted space. In the dimly lit chambers of his fortress ship, the Vocari overlord gazed into a swirling orb of liquid light, his scarred visage reflecting both intrigue and malice. So, the humans have abandoned the Forum, he mused aloud, his voice a low growl. Interesting. They think they can hide, but they underestimate us. Soon, they will learn the true price of defiance. His advisors shifted uneasily, sensing the storm brewing within their master. The Vocari had long coveted humanity's technology, and now, with Earth isolated, the temptation to strike was almost irresistible. Prepare the fleet, the Overlord commanded. We move when the time is right. Weeks passed, and humanity settled into its newfound solitude. Earth's governments implemented sweeping reforms, focusing inward to bolster their defenses and expand their reach into unexplored territories. New colonies sprang up on distant moons and barren planets, each fortified with cutting-edge weaponry and autonomous drones. But peace proved elusive. Rumors began to circulate of strange ships lurking near human borders, ships bearing markings, unfamiliar to any recorded database. Scouts reported encounters with hostile entities, though none survived to provide details. Tensions mounted as paranoia took root. One evening, as Ilara patrolled the outer rim of the Sol system aboard the Elysium, an urgent transmission crackled through the comm system. It was fragmented, distorted, but unmistakably alien. Human. Filth! Your arrogance will burn! Before she could respond, the signal cut off, replaced by static. Moments later, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Captain!" shouted Kai from the sensor station. "Multiple contacts emerging from subspace. They're surrounding us." Ilara's heart raced as she turned to face the viewport. Against the backdrop of stars, dozens of sleek, predatory vessels materialized, their hulls gleaming with an unnatural sheen. At their center loomed a colossal dreadnought, its silhouette imposing and menacing. "Identify them!" she barked. Kai's fingers flew across his console. "Unknown origin, no match in our databases. Wait, they're hailing us!" On the main screen, a figure appeared. A being cloaked in darkness, its features obscured, save for glowing red eyes that pierced through the gloom. "I am the herald of the Vocari," it declared, its voice dripping with venom. "Your defiance has sealed your fate. Surrender or perish." Ilara clenched her fists, her resolve hardening. Whatever came next, humanity would face it head-on. The galaxy may have watched in terror as they left the Forum, but now the real test had begun, and the humans weren't afraid to fight back.